All right. When I last left you guys, I had spun you a thrilling tale, and it all led down to one simple question. Which emoji do I take? And I couldn't decide between the diamonds of decisions or the detonator. Um, I knew what the detonator would do. I knew it involved the pinned tweet as soon as I read it. But I wasn't sure. I couldn't be sure what was in that pinned tweet. I took a guess that since Malky had used the eyes emoji on the original tribal idol clue, that since he had posted the eyes emoji with the pinned tweet, that there could be an idol in it. And it turns out that my gamble paid off because we are now at the final 21. I have not yet been to tribal council, and I have two idols. One of them is more powerful than a normal idol. I'm basically Tony if he had never gone to tribal. Like it's it's ridiculous. This is the second season in a row that I have played of Malcolm's game that I have found two idols um, and held them both at the same time. Uh, and it's almost too good to be true. Like something's got to go wrong here at some point. I'm waiting for it because my ride has been just a little bit too easy up to this point. So made my choice in the emoji cove, and then got busy with the immunity challenge. I really liked this immunity challenge. It was a great game. It was one of those that didn't really get you frustrated. It just kind of like made you want to play it more when you flopped at it. Um, I spent a good couple hours and really couldn't get my score over 5,000, which I thought would have been a pretty respectable score. That seemed to be about the consensus, somewhere between 3,000 and 5,000 for most of the people who did this challenge. But I went on a little bit of a tear at like 5 o'clock in the morning and ended up posting a score of 32,000. And I was pretty sure that was like an amazing score. But in the back of my mind, I kept thinking, like, oh my God, what if somebody does exactly what I did and ends up getting like 70,000 or something and my score just looks ridiculous? And I didn't want to go to tribal enough that I was willing to submit that score, knowing that people automatically target me as a challenge beast, knowing that people target me not only for being a challenge beast, but also for just being a general threat in the game. Like, I already have one of the largest targets on my back just as soon as the cast drops. Um, and then getting onto the Boonican tribe, um, coming in third in that challenge, I didn't think I would. I definitely thought a lot of other people beat me. Thankfully, Katie and Cole's times were like way better than mine, so this is the first challenge that I've actively been like the best obvious performer in, which is like a little bit of solace to take, I guess. But this one kind of seemed to catch a lot of people's attention. I beat an entire tribe of 7 people with my sole score. I put up 32,000 points. The Lombok tribe, as a 7, put up 30,000. I beat them by almost an entire like contestant score just by myself. Um, and for somebody like me, that's unfortunate because I don't need that kind of crap right now. I'm not the kind of person who needs to be proving to his tribe that he's valuable to keep around. If my tribe wants to keep around people to help them in challenges, they're going to keep me around regardless of what I did in that challenge today. Um, yeah, that 32,000 did not improve my standing to anybody in the game. Unless there's somebody out there who, like, I can sell it to like a Katie or a Megan who I got swapped with, but we'll talk about that in a minute. But I can definitely sell that to them as like, look, y'all snapped in that challenge, but people didn't even notice you because of me, because I have the target, this guy. Um, yeah, so hopefully I can kind of use that as a bargaining chip with some of the bigger threats in the game that I don't know that that really helps my case with them because honestly, if they were going to keep a threat like me around, they're going to do it regardless of if I put up 10,000 points or 32,000 points in that challenge today. But I'm just kind of wheeling through ways that I can kind of spin this as to not a complete negative for me. I could have posted my second highest score. I put up like a 16,000, and I still would have beaten the next closest person by like 2,000 points, which would have been better for me. Should have put up the 16,000. We would have won still in a landslide, and I wouldn't have as much attention as I did today. Unfortunate, but I wanted to avoid tribal, and I think it was worth it. I wasn't ready to lose anybody in that Boonican 8 yet. So we'll see how it works out for me. Then Mason gets voted out 4-1. And I had mentioned either last confessional, I think it was last confessional, that Mason staying in the game over Bryce? Was it Bryce or Nick? One of the two. I don't even know what the original tribes were. Yeah, Mason staying over Bryce. I mentioned that could potentially, come back to bite a couple people in the ass. And Nuge, I know, asked me to elaborate on like who I thought that could come back to bite, or why. Looking at that tribe, I really think the people that were going to come back to bite, if they hadn't gone back to tribal and voted him out right after, I really think that it could have come back to bite an Angie, an Abby. I really think Abby is the one over there who needed to be really careful in terms of who they kept. I think Abby has like a decent amount of influence on that group. Maybe I'm crazy, but whatever she's passing me has been correct so far. So yeah, I really do think it could have come back to bite her in the ass. Kind of like it did Nuge when we kept Cole. Just like you keep people around who you think will be loyal numbers to you and you don't particularly see as like massive threats in the game. And you keep these people around to try to use them. But the problem is that everybody in the game has a brain. Even if they're not thinking strategically, even if they're not a strategic mastermind, they are capable of like cognitive thought. Enough so that they can get on a computer to get on Twitter, right? They managed to find Twitter to find this game. So everybody in this game has a brain. And you can keep people around for numbers all you want, but those numbers aren't going to do what you say every time. Nobody is that good. The Kim Spradlins of the world are not even that good. You can't just make people do what you want them to do. And that's kind of what I was getting at by saying that I think keeping Mason around would bite somebody in the ass. Because looking at it, of Bryce or Mason, I think Mason is the one who is much more likely to, like, he'll stick with you for now, but he'll make a move if he sees an opportunity. He's one of those who will do it if you just give him enough line. He will take it and run. So that's kind of what I was worried about for them. I'm actually really glad that Mason went. To be completely honest, I'm pretty sure the two people who I was least close with from season 2 were the two people who went first, like went pre-swap. I guess you could say I wasn't close to Lorelai, Alexandra, whatever you want to call her, either. But like Derek and Mason going, if I had to pick, those are probably the two season 2 people that I picked to be booted first. I'm not worried about an Alexandra like ending my game until we get to Final 5 and she can show up for the one challenge she's going to do to get rid of me. But that's another bitter story. But just in terms of like general being able to like position yourself, I don't see her as having the social capital to be able to make a move. She's not high enough in any like hierarchy, any kind of hierarchy power to really influence the game in that way, where I think a Mason could be. I watched him do it in season 2. It's a little bit different of a situation because in season 2 there were such distinct sides. You were on this side or you were on this side or you were Lexi. You were one of those three things. So there was really no room to maneuver, but I watched Mason try to make moves with me and me and Darius try to make moves with Mason and Brady. So I know he's at least capable, and he's a social enough player that when he is active and when he actually cares and feels like he has a shot, he can be a huge threat. He got to the end, he got 2 jury votes in season 2. One challenge goes a little bit differently, and he's very likely the winner of that game. I've preached for a while that I think Lexi wins that game just because of how I would have voted, because I would have voted for Lexi over Mason. But there's a very likely chance that he could have been the winner of that season had things in the final 6 or 5 play out just a little bit differently for him. So I really wanted him to go. I feel good about him going. I know Brady was really close to him. They worked like this together in season 2. And so far Brady has kind of been like that with me this season, where in season 2, I thought we were allies on our first tribe because I had no real knowledge of him before the game. And looking at how he talked to me then and how he talks to me now, I can tell that there's a distinct difference between when he was voting for me, or was voting with me, or would have at Boonikin, and in season 2, the distinct difference of him actively forcing rocks that he was going to have to draw to keep Ramon. So I feel good about Brady being even that much more locked in with me now, especially because Mason is gone. Plus, season 2 is starting to get down in numbers. We're down to 5 of the 3 original seasons of this game. We now have the least, where season 3 still has all 7 people from it, and season 1 has 6 of the 7 people from it left. So I'm not too worried about us getting picked off, and I actually think the 5 of us that they've left around, I think if we got rid of Alexandra, the 4 of us that they left around could actually do some really serious damage in this game, in me, Brady, Coco, and Darius. Because people think that because there was such a stark divide in season 2 that we're not going to be working together, but on the contrary, I think that divide actually brought us together, where a lot of the people who played in other seasons had to snake each other, and we never had to snake each other. Darius didn't even snake me when he voted me out at Final 5. He did what was best for his game, and we both knew that was best for his game as soon as we both lost immunity. We knew I was going as soon as that situation happened. So because we never actually had to snake each other, and we just kind of got to work together or against each other, we could see it as a game where some of these other people really burned people in their seasons. So that could come back to bite them in the ass this season if those grudges are still being held. Mason is gone, and the last thing we need to talk about is this tribe swap. First off, it was incredibly rude of you to tell us in the chat that we were not swapping and then say, I'm going to tweet the challenge and tweet drop your buffs. That's absolutely ridiculous. Only you would do that, so I guess I love you for it. But I think we all expected it. I was shook when you said we weren't going to swap tribes, because I was like, he changed the banner and we're not swapping tribes. This does not make sense. Looking at it, all in all, I think this tribe swap worked out for me about as well as I could have hoped for. I really think the only way that it could have worked out for me better is if I ended up with one of the other Boonikin people with us on this tribe. Just because, I don't see anybody on this tribe actively coming after me at this point. If we had started with 20 people, and this was final 16 right now, and we got swapped onto these tribes, then yeah, sure. That would make some sense to me to come after me at this point. But it's final 21. Honestly, this game started before the cast reveal even dropped. I've been talking to you about this game for literal months, ever since season 2. But anyway, the game, I hesitate to say it's not started yet, but it almost feels like it's not started yet. It almost feels like this has been a precursor. This game is actually starting at Final 21 right now with this swap. We got 3 tribes, especially for the Boonikin people, because we were just kind of granted immunity to swap. We were given the opportunity to perform really well in a challenge and then put in a situation where we had everybody who performed well in a challenge with us, and we just kind of wrote it out. Nobody had to actively put all that much effort in for us to actually get to this point. So to me, this is kind of when the game is starting. I even hesitate to say that. It sounds so dumb to me to say, like, okay, for example, I was watching Survivor tonight, and Natalia went home, and she was like, "Oh yeah, the game has started. We're playing the game right now." And in my head, I was like, "Honey, the game started like a week or two ago, so I don't know what the hell you've been up to, but other people have been playing the game." And so when I say the game hasn't started, I just mean that I haven't had the necessity to vote anybody out yet. Like, I have not yet been tribal. I've talked to a lot of people. I've talked about going to tribal. I've made a lot of connections with people. I've talked to people that I'm not even on a tribe with. Um, but the actual act of having to go somewhere and vote somebody out has not happened for me yet. So it's kind of a weird spot to be in. It almost feels like I'm coming into this game with 3 brand new tribes of 7 people, almost like TCI. I wonder where you got that idea. I'm sure you had that planned long before I did TCI. But anyway, yeah, it kind of feels like 3 brand new tribes of 7. And I just have an idol and a gold idol, and I'm ready to go. So let's take a look at these new tribes, just kind of get a little thoughts on them. The new Boonikin tribe is odd, and I'm really glad I didn't end up there. I think if you remove probably like any one of those people and put me there, I don't think I feel anywhere near as strong as I do where I am right now. So you have Brian I. Now it's in the camera. Brian I. Who I would have liked to end up on a swap tribe with. I don't necessarily think ending up as a swap tribe with him is that bad for me. I think he knows my game well enough that if I ended up on a swap tribe, he would know that I'm not looking to actively target anybody. I'm looking to actively save myself in that situation. And I think he would have picked me up as a number to get rid of somebody that he was actively targeting, or attach me to somebody who he was trying to work with who was actively targeting somebody. Devin, I'm glad I'm not on his tribe. I don't want to deal with him in this game. I've mentioned that multiple times before. He made Final Four in Delaney's tonight, and honestly, if he gets to the end, he probably wins, which is unfortunate. I respect his game. I just don't have an affinity for it. Where, like, sometimes I watch people play Survivor, like a Coco. Like, I watched Coco play Survivor in TCI, and I loved her game. And it was really weird because you're supposed to love, like, the Dominics of the world. And don't get me wrong, like, I loved watching his game. I loved watching his confessionals. I loved discussing just general game theory with him. But watching people like Coco play the game, like, it's so interesting to me, and I can respect the way she goes about it. Whereas Devin, I don't particularly enjoy it, and I don't want to have to deal with it at this point. If I did end up on a tribe with him, I would be really happy that it was with 2 idols, because he would probably get sent out with one of them. Tyler is one of the people that I would have liked to end up in a potential 4-person Boonikin, like an original Boonikin majority on my swap tribe, and he didn't. I don't know how I feel about his chances on this tribe. They have an obvious Boonikin 4, and we'll talk a little bit later about Brady and why I don't know if that's going to happen. But Tyler just kind of seems like the obvious biggest threat to me there. Like, if I had to pick somebody right now who was winning this game on that tribe, just based on like a name and what I know of them before this, it would be Tyler. He would be the one that I'm just like, if you had to pick somebody, it would be him for no other reason. Especially because he's one of two winners on that tribe, and Brian M, for all intents and purposes, can't really be considered a winner. Like, he won the game, people respected his game and gave him the jury votes, and he deserves his win. But if you had to rank the winners, he's the lowest winner on everybody's list. So he's not like a shield for Tyler in the way that like a Cole or a Darius would have been for Tyler on that tribe. Brian isn't helping Tyler's case unless Brian is actively trying to work with Tyler, which he very well might be. I'd believe it. I could see that Boonikin 4 sticking together. I'm not sure who goes in that situation, but we'll see. Angie, Angie is a crackhead, an absolute crackhead. Um, I know she was targeting me. Darius straight up told me to my face, like, Angie is actively targeting you right now, which scared the shit out of me because I watched Angie do her magic in TCI and I don't need that coming my way. And then today, Darius messages me and tells me that Angie is not targeting me and Angie actually wants to work with me. We do stand that. And I appreciate Darius going to bat for me and telling Angie that I can be used as a shield, just like they did with Dominic in TCI. And just like Darius did with me in season 2, because it actually worked for him, he's the only person who's ever actively used me as a shield and like admitted to it, and not just after the fact, after they won, and been like, oh, I used Ryan as a shield. Like, Darius was actively using me as a shield that season. He did not want to go deep with me. He went deep with me because he knew he needed me. And it worked out for him. Just like I tell people all the time, if you leave me around as a shield, it'll work out for you because people are always coming for me before you. I swear to God. Anybody who ever watches this, I promise you, people are coming for me before you. Except Nuge, because for some reason Cole went for you instead of me. But we do stand. Yeah, Angie. If I had ended up on a swap tribe with her, I would have wanted it to be with Darius, and I would have wanted it to be in a situation where she did not have other available number options. I would have wanted to be in a situation where I was her only option, so that I know that she would have to work with me. Even with Angie, that's not like any kind of guarantee because she's a literal crackhead and will do whatever she wants. But it would give me the best, like, I would feel the best about ending up on a swap tribe with her in that situation. So given how these tribes shook out, I'm kind of glad I didn't. She can be somebody else's problem. Amanda Panda. I would have loved to have ended up with Amanda on a swap. Unfortunately, I did not. I don't know that she would be in any real danger on that tribe. Perhaps she would, but I don't think she would. I think she's probably throwing Devin like under the bus as hard as possible to anybody who will listen right now. I think Brian already knows that narrative to be true. Brian I already knows that narrative to be true, and will potentially encourage it because I doubt somebody who plays as logically as Brian would want somebody like Devin to stick around. So yeah, I feel like Amanda's probably in a pretty good spot there. I'm hoping we meet up in another swap. And then there's Brady. I would have loved to end up with Brady. Brady is hilarious. I love him to death. Talking in our alliance chat tonight was too much. He told me he was supposed to be doing a banner for the challenge and was thinking about not doing one because he wants to go to tribal. And he wants to go to tribal so that he can have fun because apparently voting people out in the pre-merge is fun. I find it as a necessity. But Brady seems to just want to do... He literally said to me, I'm not playing to win, I'm playing to play, which I know to be utter bullshit. I know Brady wants to win. I know he's going to try to win. He seems to have forgotten that I hosted him in TCI and I read all his confessionals. Maybe he thought I, like, ignored them or something, but... Brady, come on. But I do think he'll have more fun with it because it's a Twitter game than most people who take Twitter games super seriously. And I think that has a lot to do with the fact that he has not played as many Twitter games as the rest of us. I also think the fact that he has not played as many Twitter games as the rest of us, and the one that he did play was with me, and we kind of bonded over that, really benefits me if he manages to stick around. I don't think he's in any real danger over there. Then we have the new Lombok tribe. This tribe is just kind of a goon squad to me, dude. I don't know. Okay, the first thing, I went down the list for the Boonican tribe in the order that I guess they appeared in the randomizer, but I'm going to start on this Lombok tribe, this new Lombok tribe, with Cole. Because I told you, and Cole already confirmed it to me, but as soon as I saw this tribe, I knew Cole was going to be shitting his pants because he is the only winner on that tribe. He is the only original Boonican on that tribe. And he snapped in the first challenge. He doesn't have many connections. Like, okay, Cole is super connected on Stan Twitter and in Twitter games, we get that. But as far as, like, previous connections within this specific game go, Cole has only ever played with Kirsten and Gavin. And he was early boot in that season where Kirsten and Gavin were, like, 7th and 6th place or something like that. And he hasn't played with any of the other 4. Alexandra is the only person from season 2 on that tribe. She can go if they want to do me a favor and boot that third season 2 person that I do not want to work with. I would be very appreciative. Um, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I think Cole said that he was working with her. I think Cole said it was him, Mike, Alexandra, and Alex, and that makes sense to me. I think that's a pretty solid alliance. And he told me they were going after Gavin, who was on their tribe. Gavin messaged me and was like praying that he was on my swap tribe. Apparently, he sees a lot of value in me having gotten 32,000 points in the challenge last night. I don't believe him. I actually believe he wants me on his tribe to get rid of me as soon as possible. Um, that is my read on him. Kirsten can go. I don't think she's in the majority, and honestly, if her, Gavin, and Alexander, like, well, we need to stay in this swap formation for 3 votes. Lombok needs to lose all 3 of them, and Kirsten, Gavin, and Alexander need to be the 3 people to go. That is my literal dream swap. Make it happen, please. Yeah, I don't have anything to say about her. I don't know how much she's actively been doing. She did get a vote at the last tribal council, which I find funny. Bella and Alex, I both want to stick around. I think they'll both come after me at some point. I don't think either one of them are coming after me right now, and they kind of give me bigger targets in the game that I can turn people after. And I love Mike. Me and Mike have been talking. I hope he doesn't get screwed on this swap. I hope him and Cole work together. I hope he sticks around because I think he'll work with me. And then finally, we have the new Wakatobi tribe. Megan, myself, Coco, Abby, Jordan, Darius, and Katie. I love Megan. She's super sweet. She dragged some people in the chat today, and it was pretty funny. I'm glad we ended up on a tribe together. I messaged her and told her I was interested in working with her. I actually did that with everybody, spoiler alert. But I honestly think that she would be open to working with me if the situation presented itself. Coco is my final 2 deal. We finally ended up together in this game. I'm very pleased about that. I'm also very pleased that I'm in a situation on a swap tribe where I can play that gold idol if I need to and burn it before final 10 because it does have an expiration date of final 10. So it's a little bit more urgent than the idol that I have that is valid until final 5. So I'm glad I ended up in a situation where, like, if the 5 people here who are not me and Coco decide that they need to turn against us, I'm very happy that I have the ability to save us both with 1 idol play and still hold on to that idol in my back pocket in case we don't swap after that or something and people are still coming after us and I still have a shot. So it's good for me. It really benefits me that Coco is with me here. Abby has the idol, told me she had the idol from the original Lombok, and she's been actively working with me. She told me before the swap, when I told her I expected a swap, that if we swapped, I had mentioned that I was probably over, and she was like, well, I have your back because a queen needs her king, and she seems to have been telling me that in Delaney's game and in this game, and she was true about it in Delaney's game, at least through final, I think she would have taken me at least final 10, so I feel good about her being here with me. This is another one of those tribes where I really don't want anybody to go. Like, I kind of really love the tribe configuration. I kind of really think that we'll do decently well in challenges. I don't think we're as stacked as we were on the original Boonikin, but I don't think that I think we're probably the best suited for challenges of the 3 new tribes. The next one is Jordan. I don't have any read on Jordan. I know he plays more Big Brother games than he does Survivor games. I know he was the runner-up in Season 5. I know he is one of 3 remaining Season 5 contestants in this season out of 21, which is not a lot. And I straight up told him, I went to him as soon as I saw the new tribe, and I messaged him in particular just to tell him, hey, I'm glad I'm getting to meet you. I love meeting new people in games. Also, I know there's not very many people from Season 5, and I'd love to work with you guys. I think you guys would be great allies. Just kind of selling him whatever I could to make him believe that we're on good footing. I'd like to have a conversation with him before the challenge results are released tomorrow, just to kind of lock in something. If I had to pick, Jordan is probably the first to go if we lost. if I just had like an immediate say and could boot anybody I wanted just based on as it stands right now. Jordan is probably the one that I would want to go the most. I think I still hold a good number of cards in that 6-person tribe if Jordan goes. Um, because the next two people are Darius and Katie, who are my OG Boonikin bitches. Um, I love them both. They're the two people who potentially shield me as a challenge beast. They ended up on this tribe with me, which is great because I'm not competing against them. I'm competing with them for immunity. And yeah, I don't want either one of them going anywhere. Um, Potentially, I think the OG Boonikin plus Coco would make sense to stick together because I don't think. Has Megan been to tribal? What tribe was Megan originally on? Oh, that should tell me. Yeah, Megan wasn't with Coco and Abby. It's just a. Okay, Coco, Abby, and Jordan. And I assumed that they originally voted together and they've been voting together, but I think that Coco feels better with me than she would with Abby and Jordan, even though her chances are probably better with Abby and Jordan. Um, I think she feels better with me and Darius because I know her and Darius were talking. Um, so in that potential split, is Megan really? Yeah, it's 3-3-1. That's weird. I hadn't even looked at our original tribe division on this new Wakatobi tribe. It's 3 original Boonikin, 3 original Lombok, and then Megan. She's the only person who remained on Wakatobi. Um, but I don't think it makes her the swing. I really don't. I also don't potentially think she's really in any danger. I'm not sure anybody on this tribe is going to actively try and go after Megan right now. I know she's a threat to go deep because I know she's loyal, but I know she's also a smart player, and I know that she made Final Tribal Council the last time she played. So she's definitely one to watch, but I'm not really interested in getting rid of her. I'm not really interested in getting rid of anybody on this tribe. I kind of just want to snap. I'm about to have to go make some banners here in just a little bit. Um, so we've kind of covered everything I needed to talk about tonight. Tribe swap really, I think, worked out in my favor. I think of the different permutations of scenarios that could have happened, I think this is probably one of, if not the best one that I could have hoped for. Um, yeah, I'm pleased. I'm pleased with my position in the game. I don't really want to lose. I'm not too worried if we do lose, especially because I've got the two idols in my back pocket. It gives me way more leeway to play one of them and just like guarantee my safety if I feel at all nervous. As a matter of fact, that's what I did in season 2. I found the merge idol 10 minutes before votes were due in season 2 for the merge vote. And as soon as I found it, I was like, I have 2 idols now and I feel nervous. I feel like I'm getting votes at this tribal. I can go ahead and play one. And I just went ahead and played it. And people might see it as wasteful, but it saved me and it kept me in the game. And otherwise, I would have left with 2 idols. Or if I hadn't found that one and been like conservative with the one that I did have, I would have left with an idol in my pocket. So I like having, if I'm going to have an idol as power, I like having all the power. I like having as much power as possible because it still makes me play smart. Um, I don't want to get comfortable. I don't want to get conservative. I just want to make sure that I'm actively doing what is in my best interest every single day. And up to this point, I think I've been doing that. So let's see where this ride takes us.